Right, it's your Geordie Journos back at St James's Park. Lovely sunny
St James's Park.
We're laughing about this because I've had to re-record this about 3 times. I said it was sunny and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's just
got sunny again.
Got sunny and it's totally tickled me. Right, so we're going to be talking. This is a transfer window debrief. Of course, the clouds have passed as they have above us at St James's Park on the transfer window that was. And we want to talk a little bit about what we think about it, because that's kind of the sort of thing that you're interested. I mean, even if there's any Liverpool fans on here, they can hang on and listen to see what happens on the other side as well. Other side of that man, Alexander.
Just say it and I'll beep it.
Alexander Isak. No, I'm not going to swear. What happens on the other side from him. And of course, the business that Newcastle United, most importantly, managed to do. So we're not really going to split this into 2 parts. Let's just get the ads out the way. Dom, you can see a bit on getting ready IT equipment, because everyone loves that.
Yeah, it is. Comply IT Limited. Worrying about disposing of your old IT equipment? Don't be. Comply IT handle everything. Secure collection, detailed tracking, and certified data destruction. That's Comply IT Limited. Four Rivers Financial Planning offer holistic financial advice for all stages of life, ensuring your plan remains robust and adaptable in the ever-changing world we live in.
Right, and we're back. That was the proud sponsors of all Geordie Journos content. Do like, comment, share, subscribe, and I've said this for a while. Click the bell if you want to get notifications as to when any Geordie Journos content goes up. This summer has been a busy summer for us. We've probably done, I think we went from doing 1 to 2 videos a week in our first 18 months to, like, in the last 6 months, it's a 3 and 4 video a week,
every other day, or we're going to do a video,
I think that's the passion for it. We enjoy it, don't we? We do enjoy chatting these things through. We love the interactions as well too, so do keep it going. It's been great all summer. Right, what we're going to talk about today. I think the way we look at this is to say, overall, at the end of your little feelings, your little sort of rant or whatever it may be on Newcastle United's transfer window, give a ranking out of 10. I want to know from you guys what you think Newcastle United left on the table, what you hope they would have done and didn't do, and then probably the bit of business or something that happened in the window that made you most happy, proud, and something that you think, you know what, that's something to hang our hat on this summer, or that's a really good signing, or whatever. So, who wants to go first?
I think your point sort of ties in with mine, so I don't know if you want to go first on the positive you mentioned off camera. I think that probably ties into.
I think I should start today.
Go on then, why not?
Should I? Yeah, so for me...
That gets the ball rolling.
Right. So I'll first come at the thing that's made us the most positive thing, I think, of this summer. And the most positive thing, and it might sound perverse in many ways, because not often would you say that losing the best footballer that you've seen in quite some time to be the best thing that could have happened to Newcastle United in a transfer window. But I really believe that once he's gone and the clouds have gone and the feeling's gone and the pressure, the best thing that happened to Newcastle United this summer, this window, was the exit of Alexander Isak. A disrupting influence behind the scenes, massively so. A player that divided a dressing room, divided the thoughts of a manager from the true things that mattered this summer, divided the thoughts of a fan base, divided the thoughts of a boardroom when much more pressing matters were at hand and needed dealt with. I think getting rid of him, forget the football inside, I accept Newcastle United losing a very, very good player. One Liverpool fan came at me on Twitter and said, you're trading gold for copper, when he talked about the idea of losing Isak and bringing Wissa in, when I said that's the proper number 9. He never wore number 9, I'm glad he never wore number 9. But I think it's true, I do believe that yes, they're not getting a better player, but getting rid of him and the disruptive influence and the negative energy and the cloud that he brought with him is the best thing that could have happened to Newcastle United at the back end of that window. That's not just me trying to sugarcoat it and talk rubbish. I genuinely believe this, and it's for this reason. This is the reason why Isak had to go. What you see now in the fan base, I'm seeing it already. It's good to have a common enemy. Look, he might go and score a load of goals, he might go and win leagues and whatever, win it all. I'm not certain he will win it all, and I hope he doesn't, because he's a rat, and we don't want people like that to do well.
Okay.
He's despised at this football club by the people who are in it, the people who helped him, and he's despised by me. Can't speak for you two. And he's despised by anybody I speak to, and that will remain. That isn't going to fade. That isn't going to go. Somebody said to me on Twitter the other day as well, they said, "Oh, that'll be you not when I said something, possibly disparaging about him. That'll be you not watching the most famous part of your life again. You'll not be watching that cup final." I said, "No, I will. I'll watch it with pride. I'll watch it with the same pride that I watched it before. Not going to make any difference to me that one man in a team that achieved greatness at this football club, one man tarnished his own legacy, is not going to change my opinion on what happened that day. He scored the winning goal that made me the happiest I've ever been, apart from kids, etc." Am I being a bit loud? Was that what we were trying to record? Yeah, am I?
We're getting evils from Sky Sport.
Oh, am I? Sorry, Sky Sport. Pete Graves is trying to record and I'm just ranting.
We're in this spot.
We are actually. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought now.
Sorry.
I'm not going to stop watching the moment that made me the proudest ever just because that man decided to tarnish his own legacy. I'm not accountable. My feelings aren't accountable for him, his actions. He spoilt that, not me. But I think it's a good thing, and the good thing overall for me is because it's unified and brought together fans like I've never known any player do before. Genuinely, and it's a negative reason why everyone's been pulled together. However, it's a positive for me. That's a unifying factor. It's got an opportunity to not only bring the fans and the players and everybody else closer, and the manager and closer together. I think it's great. I genuinely think it's got that opportunity, and I'm really positive about it. That's going to sound so ridiculous. Like, people are going to be like, what is he talking about? I can't legislate for me silly opinions sometimes. And maybe it's silly, maybe it's not, maybe you believe the same. But I think in this adversity, this has got a chance to be one of the biggest unifying factors this football club's had in a long time.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. If you said you'd lose Alexander Isak at the start of the window, you would have went absolute disaster. But the situation became so toxic, so irretrievable really, that to maximise the value and everything, Alexander Isak had to go, and he had to go then. If he stays around, we're still reporting on it till January. Like a bad smell around the place, like you say, dividing the dressing room, dividing the club, behind the scenes, things like that. Even if he were to come back, you're not getting the full Alexander Isak. You're getting a even worse version than the Alexander Isak we saw the back end of last season, which was barely a £10 million player, let alone a £130 million player. So I think for all parties, the best thing was just to wipe your hands with it. And yeah, I think it's a positive in the end that Alexander Isak did leave the club. But if you said at the start of the window Alexander Isak would leave it, you would have seen it as a disaster.
Yes.
But what I will say, a positive I think that has come from Newcastle is the way of being able to be, I say reactive to a degree, but also proactive as well, and bringing the players in. And they've lost Callum Wilson, they've lost Isak, they've brought in Nick Voltemata and Yoane Wissa, the two players who you could argue, it's pure speculation at this point and pure hope really, you could argue on the average do Newcastle now have two stronger striker options than they did last season, because Alexander Isak was probably only at full tilt 50% of the time, and then Callum Wilson was a completely ineffective replacement. So if you get Nick Voltemata, Yoane Wissa coming into the side, scoring 10-15 goals apiece, on the average the squad could be stronger forward.
Is that your positive?
That's my positive.
Is it?
Yeah.
You got a positive.
I've got another one as well.
Oh, have you?
I'll let Jordan speak.
No. I thought maybe rather than me just firing off on all three answers, why don't we do that? Like, talk about your positives.
So my sort of positive ties into what you guys have said. There was a fact that I just kept going throughout the transfer window. This could have went badly wrong. Rejection after rejection to start in terms of strikers. You then have Alexander Isak's situation. But the club, although left it late, kept going, and they got the business done, and they brought in two strikers, and they need to do that. Look how Nick Voltemata turns out. It's sort of an unknown quantity, but the fact that they've went and signed a striker to replace Alexander Isak, one that scored 19 Premier League goals last season, they've went and signed a striker who was one of the most exciting young prospects on the planet in Europe. I think to go and do that, I think they deserve massive credit for what they thought they've done. As I say, it was a really tough situation. I don't think, as much as you maybe expected interest in Alexander Isak, there's some I don't think anyone expected, the toxic nature, so how volatile it got, that his actions could have ruined everything, and to a degree they've ruined the start of Newcastle United season, but they've got through that period now. they've got the business done, and I think it almost feels like a bit of a new chapter for me after the transfer window. An international break, a new chapter, a time to move on from him with a new forward line, new players elsewhere. So I mean, even in terms of squad, they've bolstered it massively. I mean, at the start of the transfer window, I remember we'd done a video on this location, I think probably about 2 months ago, and it was like, well, what's your priorities? Who do they need to go and sign who first? They've actually, all the positions are needed to strengthen, they've done that. And for that, as I say, given the Isak noise, they deserve massive credit for ploughing on right at the very last minute.
Yeah, I think they've retrieved what could have been a disastrous transfer window and made it actually quite palatable in the end.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good point you both made. It's brought the average up, hasn't it? You made the average just on the striker position, but it is across the whole squad, isn't it? I would argue they've possibly spent 250 million plus and not necessarily automatically improved the starting 11. You might say there's an argument to be made. The starting 11 is weaker than it was last season. Yeah. However, they could probably name more starters than what they ever have been able to.
Scratching the surface and there's still quality.
Yes.
Whereas last season, and the season before, definitely there wasn't much.
Yeah. You're talking about a body of 12, 13, 14 players before, whereas now it feels like we're heading up towards the bench is looking all right. You know, like everybody's fully fit. Even with a few out, you're having to leave a couple of players out there. There was nobody left behind before.
No.
Unless it was Dummett or Ritchie the season before last or something like that, but you know, very rarely have Newcastle been able to do that. So I think there is positive to be taken, but again, the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Jacob Ramsey, I like the look of that. If he can stay fit, if it's one of those, if he might turn out to be one of those, I hope not. But if he can stay fit, I really like what I saw from him so far.
Definitely. Another positive I've sort of took note of this window is, for once, Newcastle, I mean, it's obvious with yesterday and Alexander Isak, but for once they've been quite a proactive, quite almost liberal selling club this transfer window. The sentimentality's gone out the window. They've got rid of Martin Dubravka, okay, not a lot of money. They've sold Sean Longstaff, that absolutely had to sell him. They got a decent fee for him. And then Alexander Isak being the big one, Lloyd Kelly being a big one as well, okay, that was agreed in January. They've recouped, okay, they've spent 250 million, but they've recouped a decent portion of that.
I'm going to slightly challenge you on that one. I'm not sure there's been a change in sentimentality. Callum Wilson was forced. Sean Longstaff was forced. Alexander Isak was forced. Have they really made any sales that have been like sort of where they've said, you know what, we're gonna just do this? Asula would have been.
Yeah,
but it didn't happen.
I would have agreed with that point if the Asula deal happened.
I still think Eddie Howe, for all his positives, negatives, I think one of his traits is he does hang on. And I don't think I'm not sure, we might have, but I'm not sure this summer has brought in a. Callum Wilson they tried to keep him. Sean Longstaff would have still been here if he hadn't pushed to move. I think Joe Willock would have been one that maybe got moved on, or as I've said before, Lewis Miley might have been the one to send out on loan if Longstaff had stayed.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we've necessarily seen. Isak was definitely forced, wasn't it? We all know that. I don't think we've necessarily seen any choices.
No, but it has. The squad has been given.
Dubravka, was promised.
Yeah. It's been rejuvenating for the squad. Like a lot of players have left that have had a good history at Newcastle United, and they've replaced them fairly successfully so far.
It's
a high turnover. That's the
which
point.
Is unusual, because one thing that Hal always tends to talk about, isn't he? Doesn't like a big churn in windows.
So how Newcastle react to that is going to be interesting.
He doesn't like a big churn because his team is very metronomic. It all works on, like, it's so planned and patterned that it takes players time to come in and get involved in it. So he doesn't want to have to introduce 4 starters into that team because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You see that when he makes so many changes at Leeds and alters things around, it doesn't work. It has to be the team and the way that it works to really be at its best. That's why the midfield 3 and the continuity, it took Tonali a while. We kept having to go back to Longstaff. This is like, it's all up and back, but they had to keep going back to him because he worked and functioned in the system. Tonali didn't, but it took him time and eventually did. It's going to take Voltemara time. It'll take Wissa time. It will. He's not going to walk in.
He's not fit, is he?
Well, he'll probably start, I would imagine. He'll be the one that starts, I think, against Wolves.
Yeah. He's been training, but
if he's match fit. Has he gone away with Congo? I know I should probably know this, but
I don't know that. I try to find. Unsurprisingly, there isn't a lot of news about Congo's national team when you search on Google.
Chancellor
Nick
Mbemba.
Voldemort is.
There might be more. Yeah, Nick.
Not with Congo, with Germany.
Yeah.
He'd stand out like a sore thumb in the
I was talking
Congo.
about Chancellor Mbemba for Congo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was.
So I might.
There's a couple of Sunderland players in that squad as well. It's Siddiqui and
Oh, right,
another
yeah,
one.
yeah.
There's two, I
Oh,
think.
well, you've got a better DR.
Well, obviously,
Congo.
I did try and find this out.
Yeah.
I did look to see, has he gone away with Congo? Don't know. Look, he's that desperate to come. Does he even go to AFCON? Everyone goes on about, he's going to be
Yeah.
gone for a month. Who knows?
I imagine
he'll
he probably will.
I imagine he will as well, but you never
but
know. I wouldn't rule it out.
that's one thing that a lot of supporters have been like, the African Cup of Nations. I mean, it's not ideal, but
It's not
really that was never a deal breaker for me. As I say, when you lose a player of Alexander Isak and all of his goals, realistically, that one of the best options it could have got based on the
him.
Premier League top goal scorer table last season was him.
We got to think about it, right? We went to bed on Sunday night thinking there is a huge hole here in the Newcastle United squad, and by Monday lunchtime, I seen people whinging about the fact that he might be away for a month later in the season. My head was blown. It's not ideal, but that is virtually the best possible scenario that they've fixed when you have a hole like that in a squad. And okay, it is a problem from mid-December to mid-January, potentially a little bit longer, but there's September, October, November, March, April, May. I'm sorry, I'll take the month. Sitting there on Sunday night not knowing if a striker would come in,
Yeah.
I'll take a month out because that's an injury. You know what I mean? I'll take that. And they've managed to get another one as well, who definitely isn't, as you've established, isn't going to AFCON with Congo.
He's gearing up for the World Cup.
He will. Him and West Ham's former Borussia Dortmund painter and decorator who plays up front. He'll be there. The two strikers, won't there, for Germany?
There was only two of them called up the squad, wasn't it?
Yeah, two strikers. Yeah.
The painter and decorator, aka Nicholas Fulcrum.
He looks like he's a scaffolder, something, doesn't he? Doesn't look like a footballer.
No offence to any scaffolders out there.
No. He just looks like he's been through the school of hard knocks.
Yeah,
he looks like he's lived a bit.
Yeah.
No, I think he will.
Such a
try
strange turn.
I was going to say, I think he will as well, trying to play Graham Potter's pressing style.
Yeah, I know. I don't think he suits that at all,
Anyway,
does he? Well, a good result for them at the weekend.
Callum Wilson.
But so that's the difference, isn't it? I had a big smile on my face when I seen him running away celebrating a goal that he scored for West Ham. Not our team, don't really care how West Ham do. I had a big smile on my face and I thought, you know what, you've earned that. I really like to see that. You won't be smiling when that bloke scores, will you?
No.
But it'll just be rammed down. Like this is another thing
It
as
will
well.
be.
It'll be absolutely rammed down your neck. You guys watching out there, right? Every time Alexander Isak scores to Liverpool, prepare for it. Prepare for it.
I'm all right with that, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't
But
see
you've got-
Liverpool. Let's talk about. He's went to Liverpool because they're not a rival of Newcastle United. We want to get there, but it would literally take half a. It would take 50 years to get anywhere close to where
I know
Liverpool have achieved in
they're
that.
not a direct rival, but they're a Premier League rival, and I don't like the
Yes.
fact that Newcastle have sold
That's the difference.
one of their best players to
Someone
to
else in the
strengthen
league.
a Premier League
Yeah.
rival.
Yeah.
You would have took a Real Madrid for 100 million.
Aye, 100%. Yeah, 100%. But anyway,
Interesting thing, and I don't want to linger on Isak too much. Club statement. I did enjoy that.
yeah, it was
class.
get that up, you want it?
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
that up, you deserve that.
It was the fact that didn't he mention his goals.
But seen, I thought it was very deliberate that Wissa obviously wanted to
Did
say
do it
something
for
about Brentford, didn't he? In the club interview, which is quite unusual. Oh no, maybe it's not. I think Alanga did in his
Yeah.
Forest one, didn't he? But no, it was never a thing. It was nauseating. The Liverpool FC interview. What do you think about the shirt? Oh, he's answered that. What about the liver bird? What about the liver bird? And then the number. Would you like the number? What about the liver bird there? Was he? Oh, I was going to swear. It was like that.
Was that
that
your
voice.
Was that your was that your impression of a Scouse
No,
accent?
I don't know what it was. But it was nauseating.
No,
as
no,
much
it
as
was.
that impression.
No,
was,
actually, it was very much the because I put myself through it to watch
did as
the
well.
8-9 minutes, and it was just very much the same question. Are you looking forward to playing at Anfield? Yes. Well, what about wearing the red shirt at Anfield?
And what about wearing the red shirt with the liver bird on it? You know the number 9 on the red shirt with the liver bird. Hey, at least we can laugh. Tom, you might have to cut this because we've lost it.
We've lost the plot. Well, I thought Newcastle's interview with Yoane Wissa was very good.
Yeah. What about the seahorses on the patch?
Do you like the seahorses, you want?
We're going to change it, yeah.
Yeah.
Say goodbye to them.
Hey, honestly.
Got to keep this in.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We've lost the
We're
plot.
keeping all that in.
I don't know.
Why not?
Yeah,
they know
we
what,
need a laugh
they know
after.
if they've watched it long enough, they know what daft. Right, so the next bit I want to talk about is, what do you think Newcastle United left on the table? I'll come to you first, Jordan, on it. What do you think Newcastle United didn't do that you were like, I wish they had?
It's a hard one because they strengthened all the positions needed to strengthen, and they were faced with a situation where they had to sell the star man. So, what did they leave short? I think you may have to come back as well. Let's have a little.
I'll set you off. Dom, what do you think?
Right, it's not necessarily what they left on the table, it's just almost the speed, and I don't want to criticise the signings they've made, but I feel like a lot of them weren't the first choice signings, and I think the pace of the business in the window, okay, Anthony Elanga was a top choice, Malik Chow yet to start the game for Newcastle, he wasn't the top choice centre back. I don't think they really pushed the boat out, other than Nick Voltemata, to make a signing where you go, ooh, he really changes things, he really gets this team ready for Champions League football. Like we say, it's padding out the squad, that's a positive, that's something Newcastle needed to do, but I'm not sure they've signed necessarily anyone other than potentially Nick Voltemata, who is an unknown quantity where you go, wow, Newcastle are forced to be reckoned with this season. It's more they've improved the squad game.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. They did have to go with that redraw lists left, right and centre, didn't they? That was one of the biggest things about summer. It was such a drain for so long, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which comes on to your resilience point as well, that they did manage to claw back from somewhere.
Yeah, they've overpaid on a few players as well.
Yeah, definitely have, yeah. I think the one that people aren't mentioning is, I think there's an obvious player from what I've seen from the window so far that they've massively overpaid for, and I don't think it's Yoane Wissa. No, I think people will probably make their own mind up on that, but I'm not going to say what I think. But I think there's a big disparity between value and what it looks like is being produced on the pitch.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's not the one. That's not my complaint.
I mean, I know who you mean.
That's not my complaint.
See our previous video.
Yeah, that's not my complaint really. My complaint. It's not a complaint. That's a stupid way of putting it. What would I say Newcastle have left on the table? I think they've left some midfield business on the table. I think if you're looking at the balance of the squad now, I think again you've still got a little bit of an issue where Joe Linton's got his stand in if needs be, or an alternative in the 8th position almost. Yeah. I'm not sure that keeping Willock in the squad, who is yet to see, has he seen any time this season?
No.
Yet to see a minute this season. Can't really see where he's going to see minutes. Unless his injuries, and I think Miley looks a lad. I want to see it. The thing that doesn't get look, not everybody's got bottle. I'm not saying he hasn't got bottle, but I think he looks a little bit soft. I think he looks a little bit safe. And I've mentioned, I think we go back to our videos, the receipts are there, probably go back 12 months. We're saying the same thing about him. That when he was coming in, he wasn't making an impact, and it was all backwards, sideways. It was all very safe. Can I find a safe option rather than not the Lewis Miley when he first came in, when he got a little bit of confidence in the team, few games in, looking forward, finding passes. Yeah. Pre-season, one game we waxed lyrical standing here, Jordan. I can't remember, it was the Friday night game, wasn't it, Espanyol? But it was like, that's more like it, son. Looking forward, playing the game in front of you. He's got that ability. We're not seeing that again when he's coming into games in that second half at Leeds. It's backwards and sideways. Can I play a safe 5-yard pass? Not can I find my teammate in the best possible position? And I want to see a bit more. I want to see him try and grasp his opportunities, because if you keep not grasping your opportunities, even at 18, they're going to start passing you by. Needs to start grasping, because the club will sign replacements. I know I've said this on here before, he was meant to go out on loan this summer, and they haven't been able to do that, largely because of Sean Longstaff really wanting to go, and that was fair enough. They haven't been able to do that. So I think midfield business, because I think Eddie Howe picked such a different team. I don't think he trusted Miley to start that game at the weekend. And he brought him in and he did all right. It wasn't the worst performance, but it was just, it reminded us of a lot of what we've seen last season, where it was just backwards and it was 5-yard stuff. It was like safe, and You know, he gets fronted up in the midfield. He's literally like, right, turn full face, pass back in your own goal, rather than can I find another ball. He's only 18. I think he's got loads of talent. 19, sorry. He's got loads of ability, loads of talent. But at 19-year-old, there's no to fear. I wasn't scared of anything at 19-year-old. I would have done anything. Not everybody's the same, but fear comes with age. Fear comes with experience. Fear comes when you realise that bad things can happen. You shouldn't have fear at 19. Come on, son, grasp it. No. So I think midfield is the area where I think they'll next go with that sort of headroom they have.
They've got bodies in there as well, but I think you could probably see that for most of the squad now is they've got a lot of bodies, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But they still maybe lack a bit of quality.
Refine the quality, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is maybe
I'd say that about the wide areas still. You'd refine the quality in the wide areas and refine the quality in midfield would be the next two areas I'd look to say, can we upgrade on maybe a Barnes? Can we upgrade on Willock? Miley wouldn't be the first one, but I would say if you can get him out on loan, might be best just getting another one in and doing it that way. And then look to maybe move someone like Willock. They'll start dropping off. That's what happens in a natural churn of a squad. The quality will continue to rise as long as Newcastle can keep spending, which financial rules continue to baffle me in every way, shape or form. And I really feel for Aston Villa, the way things have gone.
Got in the way of Willis.
Genuinely disgraceful. An ambitious football club that wants to challenge the elite has just had the brakes put on.
It always makes me feel
Newcastle, it's happened to Villa.
Always makes me feel uncomfortable watching the struggles of Villa because it can quite easily happen here like that.
Yeah, it can, yeah.
Because we're all sort of pleased this summer because Newcastle have spent a lot of money, but in 12 months' time, God knows what position you're going to be in. And we don't, obviously the big sale Alexander Isak, we don't really know the true value of that yet and what it will allow Newcastle to do under PSR. But
it's not just PSR, it's the squad cost ratios, and it's just layers upon layers of. I'm sure all of you guys are probably bored of talking about. It's shocking, man, that it's become an accountancy game rather than just a blokes kicking a ball around.
Villa have been decent sellers as well, but we knew they've rolled the dice in January and they
probably don't make enough to pay the wages that they want to pay at the moment. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah. Missed out on Champions League.
Newcastle's is slightly better, so you'd hope, but I don't know the full calculations. You would hope that they shouldn't be in as much of a problem as what Villa were. But I think Villa did a deal with UEFA as well, so it caused all kinds of problems for them. And I think Newcastle are rumoured to potentially be going to break those rules next season, aren't they? Because of what's just gone.
Because who broke them last? Was Chelsea not?
Chelsea as well.
And it was, to be fair, the fine that they got was minimal. Like it wasn't. It was nominal, I would say, in relative terms. Don't know the exact figure, but I think that's on a bit of a tangent.
But the thing is, UEFA, the way that European football is aligned at the moment, that the last thing UEFA will ever do is do favours for Premier League football clubs, because you're seeing a death of what we're talking about the Champions League group off air. We're talking about Benfica, are a huge football club, bigger than Newcastle United, but in European football's hierarchy at the moment, you might argue Newcastle United are ahead of them in terms of a team. But that's not what UEFA wants. UEFA doesn't want to see the death of huge football clubs just because they're in small leagues. They don't want to see the death of Celtic and Rangers. They don't want to see the death of Ajax. They want, which it was more of a level playing field years ago because it was all about finding the best players, mostly using them from your own country, which are strong anyway. Whereas a lot of these sort of Sport in Lisbon, or who else might think of? Ajax, PSV, all these teams are like they're almost like just churning out players to then go to English Premier League football clubs, which is wrong really, but that's why UEFA will never bend these rules or bend backwards for English football clubs, because they're like, this is doing what it should. This should be limiting Newcastle's, this should be limiting Aston Villa's, it definitely should be limiting Bournemouth's and Brentford's and people like that, because they're like hundreds down the list, you know what I mean, like in terms of European prestige. So hundreds. I mean, it's not even that, is it? It's probably further. Let's be brutally honest.
They have none.
They don't have one. No. There is no European pedigree or heritage. But yeah, so that's anyway. Tangent. Where were we? I thought they left midfield on the table.
Yeah.
You've done yours. You didn't have.
Yeah. No, I just think for 250 million spend, it has to be a transformative window for Newcastle now, whereas I don't think what's happened necessarily improved the start 11 massively. There's no.
Do you think they've left anything on the table in terms of the squad?
I think you're right with the midfield, and then then out wide, the debate is the jury's still out on Anthony Elanga. That's all I'd say.
Yeah, I think that they're going on the starters point. I don't think they've signed any starters. That sounds ridiculous, given that they've just went and paid £69 million for a new striker, which in theory will be a starter. But you do look at the general transfer business, and it's, I mean, you're talking about Elanga and Murphy. Is there an obvious upgrade there yet? Midfield, Jacob Ramsey's you get in if Joe Linton's fit. So there's a lot of sort of conundrums in there, which isn't necessarily a bad thing to have, because, as I say, it raises the level of the squad. But in terms of signing starters, I don't think they quite did that. But I don't know if that sort of contradicts the point I made earlier, the fact that they've faced a lot of setbacks in this transfer window, and they've kept going and they've signed players and they've bolstered the squad. So maybe my positive and negative sort of ties in with each other, if that makes sense.
Anthony Gordon's a negative as well. The fact that he had to do a job for the team and did it manfully and got himself sent off, and now literally in the next game he would have been playing on the left hand side, which is where he should be playing and wants to be playing, and he's not. He's going to be sitting in the stands until the midweek after, and I'm sure he'll start against Barcelona, to be fair. But mad that when I looked at the fixtures. And it was like Wolves, Barcelona, Bournemouth, Bradford. It was just silly the way it's all sort of like lined up.
So out of 10 for the window.
Okay, for me. So I'm not gonna sit on the fence here, and I'm not gonna say because we don't really know what he's like. We don't know what he's like. I think
it's on paper
for the viewers, on paper. What do you want me to say? I think, because I'm happy that Isak's gone, although I'm disappointed to lose his talents, I think that's a negative immediately. But then you pull in the positives of, I think Jacob Ramsey's a very good player to add to this, and I think he will be a starter by the end of the season. I think he'll find a way of being in this team and nobody will keep him out. I think possibly the same with the centre half as well, and I think the two centre forwards. I think given Voldemort the time to settle into English football, I think he looks a lad with a bag of talent. Now, as I've said on these videos before, I said Wissa was the one I would have went for this summer. I said it at the start of the summer instead of Mbuemo. So I'm over the moon with that signing, whether they'll pay it or not. I genuinely think it is, what do you call it? Like a level raise. It's probably like a level raising window that maybe the top level of quality's dropped, but the overalls went up, and I say 8 out of 10. Tom?
Fair enough. I'll start with my rating. I think it's been a 7 out of 10 window. I think they've salvaged a disastrous window. I think they've overspent on a few players, but like you say, the general level of the squad has improved on the whole, which is what the minimum aim of a transfer window is, to come out better than what you started. And despite numerous setbacks, Newcastle have managed to do that. Of course, the proof will be in the pudding, but on paper, I think it's been a 7 out of 10 transfer window.
So I'll go in the middle. I'll go 7.5.
I like it.
I just think that they've been dealt a very difficult hand with the Isak situation. They've came through that. They've strengthened all the positions that they needed to strengthen. But the proof will be in the pudding as to how it plays out. But I do think for what they needed and were asked to do, they've went and done it.
Right, love it. So that's a 7.5, 7 and an 8. Maybe I'm the optimist for a change. It's unusual. Anyway, right.
A month's time it'll be a 4.
It will be. What about him? No, never. Right. Let us know in the comments though. Do let me know what you think. What is your main positive from the summer? The possible negative, and maybe what you think they've left out of the squad, if business you would like to have seen done, and also give it a rating as well. We'd love to see what you guys out there think about that.
One thing I was going to say is, if you asked us 2 years ago what the transfer window was, we would have probably said 4 out of 10, and then you look at that transfer window now, you'd probably say it's an 8 out of 10.
It was a transfer window that's like a fine wine.
Yes.
That's got better with age,
brilliantly.
Because it didn't work for them that first season. Even if Tonali had managed to turn that season around, the Hall and Livramento signings didn't work for them in the immediacy. What they needed was not those signings. We knew that though. We've got receipts. But there's a video where we talk about that, and we said like it isn't what they need now, but we know for a fact these are good players and they will be better in a year's time. And it worked out exactly how everyone thought. It just wasn't what they needed now. Have they done something like that again? I don't think so. I don't think they've signed any project players. This
for
feels
the here
more
and
like,
now.
look, we know we're going to have a lot of games, so let's bulk the squad out.
Yoane Wissa, case in point, they've very rarely signed players above the age of 26, 27. They've gone and signed 29 tomorrow.
I would suspect that's the highest.
Like
the high. I see your tweet the other day. We said something about the
most
over 25.
expensive over 25-year-old in Newcastle's history.
I didn't mention it, but I was going to mention it. I think go further though. I think it's the most expensive player ever at his age in the Premier League.
Ooh. At 28.
In the, like a Premier League transfer.
Premier League to Premier League.
I think it is.
Let us know in the comments.
I might be wrong, but I think it is.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
Big fee, but needs must on Wissa.
Too right. The money was
Absolutely
there.
needs must.
They had to go and do it. You couldn't have left Voltamara for a full season, having to, up until January at least, having to not only be the goals but the creative spark in 11 ways. He's never kicked the ball in the Premier League, and he's only really had a half good season. He's possibly the project, the very expensive one, but looks a real talent as well.
Yeah.
Right, so like, comment, share, subscribe for Georgie Jones content. When will everybody see us again?
Ooh,
It's a funny one. I know I'm half thinking, oh, press conference. No.
I feel I need a break.
Yeah, possibly. But I'm sure we'll do something.
Yeah, we'll
We
find
could maybe
something.
do a weekend video for everybody, like what we used to do.
Yeah.
People like the Saturday morning video.
I do enjoy doing the 2 a week. In a
It's hard. It might
week
not.
when Newcastle on playing.
There might not be as much interest. I think there could be a lull in. I think everybody's probably feeling that.
Probably
at the
feels what
moment.
I've just said. Need
Yeah.
a break.
Yeah.
I'm ready for another video. Come on.
We'll do it. We'll do another one. Just depends what you want me to talk about. Is any issues or any topics that you want us to delve a little deeper into? Because we know a bit. We'll try. We are fans, but our actual first role in doing this is in the name. A shortened version of Geordie Journalists.
Yeah.
We try, don't we?
Yes.
We'll have a go. We enjoy it all the same. Right, like, comment, share, subscribe for all Geordie Union content. That was Don, Jordan, Liam. Do follow it on Twitter. All the details will be down below if you like what you see on here. We'll do a lot of that over on that channel too. So get in touch, let us know all the details and let us know what you think about Newcastle United's transfer window.